What's up, everybody? Welcome to Folk Tech TV. Today we have Max here. Max has been a friend for a long time, and we are here to talk about Africa, Ghana, and our race. Max, welcome to Folk Tips.
Thanks, buddy.
Nice to
Thanks,
meet you.
thanks.
It's always a pleasure.
Right. It's a pleasure to have you and also to be here.
Okay. The thing is, I want us to talk about some few stuff. And the first thing I want to ask you is, what do you think is wrong with us Africans?
Well, being an African and being part of this society, talking about the world, I think there's a lot of things wrong with us. The first thing that is wrong with us is our leaders.
Okay.
They are the main problem we have as black people. Because when you look at the whole earth and you look at all the countries around the earth, only black countries are the left behind in everything. Talk about the Caribbeans, talk about the Africa, talk about what kind of country in the world that the leadership is black, right?
So what you're trying to say is we have a problem with leadership. I can't figure what the problem is.
You know,
What do you think is the problem? Because looking at some of the European countries, they are poor,
right?
but then they are not being exposed like
We are.
we are.
Right,
So
exactly.
what is the problem?
You know, let me say this to my fellow black people, Africans especially, because I'm a Ghanaian and I will speak on behalf of Ghanaians who don't have voices. First of all, when you look at we black people, our perception towards life, it's so bad that we don't realize even what is our right as people. For example, we just hail our leaderships and even our traditional leaders, we respect them so much. And so they don't, even if they know what we need, because we don't know. So we don't show to them that, hey, what they are doing to us is not what we are expecting, because they have this kind of freedom, right? Now, you're talking about what is wrong with us. First, I told you about our leaders, the main problem we have. Another problem we have is that we don't have integration. Integration simply means that we have to develop ourselves to the highest level. And when you look at our leaders who have the opportunity to go to every part of the world in the society, they come out with an empty hand. Even though they are educated, they have whatever high education they can attain, but yet this education is just going through the school. They don't let the school go through them. So this is one problem.
So what I get from what you're saying is most of our leaders are well educated, but then what we call street brain, they don't have.
Exactly. They don't have to think. They don't even know the future for black people or the future of Africa, the future of Ghanaians.
You think they don't know?
They
or
know.
They don't care?
They don't have the future for us. They know exactly what they are doing. They know they could do better. They know what they are doing is wrong, but yet they don't give a damn to whatever happened to us. You know, like I told you, they don't respect the people of Africa. African leaders don't respect the people of Africa. Now, I want to tell you one thing about leadership. Lead by an example. Why I call you a leader is because you are doing something and you want me to follow your footsteps. So when I think and do the same thing you are doing, it means that you lead me. So in the future, I will say, oh, he led me to this place. Now, leadership is all about direction. Now, when you have people who call themselves leaders and their brain actually is not in their head, but literally maybe in their eyes, so they don't really have the sense to think about what should I do for the people of Africa. That's number one aspect of explaining leadership. And another thing about leadership is being a boss over the people. That is controlling the people, taming them, not to do what you don't want them to do. This one is just, you don't call it a leadership, but actually it's supposed to be the law. But African leaders, especially Ghanaian leaders, want to tell the people of Ghana that they are the law. They are above the law of the sovereignty of Ghana. Do you understand? So when they are wrong, go to our radio stations, go to our TV programs and stuff like that in Ghana. You don't listen to anything about innovation or whatever. It's all about these stupid people coming up and talking about what the other guy is doing and what the other guy is doing. This is it.
Well, so the bottom line is that we have leaders that are not leading. Leaders that are putting money in their own pockets and enriching their families. That is what you're talking about.
Right.
Well, my last question to you is that what do you think as Africans and as a Ghanaian we can do to force the change we need? Because every time you get opportunity to travel, I know you're a traveler, you've been to so many places. I've done the same. And the development, actually infrastructure development that we have, poverty is everywhere. Joblessness is everywhere. But then there are what we call common necessities in life: water, electricity, accommodation, affordable accommodation. You should have.
Right.
That we don't have in our country, especially in our country, especially Ghana. What do you think, coming home, what do you think Ghanaian leaders should do to help accelerate this process?
Okay.
This
So
development?
first of all, I would say that most of the time people talk about, we have to play our part in order for us to achieve the dream that we are looking for. But the truth is, it doesn't matter how much part you play. Without sensible leadership, every part you play is useless. We need somebody who have the vision to help the citizens of Ghana to envision the future you are talking about.
Yeah.
Now, who are exposed to all these infrastructure you're talking about? Who knows all these things? Let me tell you something. 20, 30 years ago, Asian countries like South Korea, Japan, China, they were poor to the lowest 20, 30 years ago. Now, it took their leadership to change and to modify the state of the people's thinking. Now, most of Ghanaians are ignorant. Now, I will tell you that ignorance comes in two forms. That is, not knowing something, not at all, and not looking for a way to find information about it. That is ignorant. And the other ignorant is you know something and you don't know how to implement it. You are also ignorant. So you have the knowledge and yet you don't know how to implement it. So in this sense, first of all, if there would be a change in Ghana, look at Ghana. We have everything. From 1990s until 1997, Ghana was number 2 producer of the world, number 2 producer of gold. Ghana was number 1, the world producer of timber, cocoa. Okay? All these time, what did we use the money for?
What happened? Yeah.
What happened? Even as we talking right now, the gold and the diamond and the bauxite, the aluminum, and everything that the God of heaven has blessed the people of Ghana is still out. We haven't even finished an iota of the natural resources that we have in Ghana. But the only problem is we don't have who is to lead. Look at it. You said about the leadership, they pocket the money. Why they pocket the money? they pocket the money even without thinking, because normally they would save in Europe.
Yeah.
And when they save in Europe, a white man will look at you and then want to find out how did you get the money. And then they go through all kinds of processes, they go through your job and they look at whatever you do, and they realize that your job cannot pay you such amount of money for you to have all this money. So they will seize your money. And your money will never go back to your people. It remains there, and they use this word. Because, you know, they call black people are fools. Black people are stupid. Why the Chinese people will send their own citizens to other countries? You know, when we're talking about technology, they didn't know anything. They started with imitate for coffee. And then later on they send their own country people, student, to go to advanced country to learn about technology. And then when they finish, they come back home to develop their country. Now go to Ghana. Any good doctor you see in Ghana is working in the UK, is working in the US, is working in Asia. So where our intelligence? Where is our intelligence? It's because of what? Stupid leadership.
Wow, that's some interesting points. This is Folk Tips. This is where you get authentic, best, intellectual, deep, it will get you thinking. Folk Tips will give you all the news you want to hear, all the stories, the things we can't talk about, the things the youth of Ghana are afraid to say, the youth of Africa are afraid to talk about. We hide behind and then we talk. But this time is our time to shine. This time we are not, this current generation, we are not going to let Africa down. We won't discriminate, but then we are not going to be allowed to be taken as fools. So this is Folk Tips. Like, subscribe, and share. This is part 1. Thanks for coming, man.
Thanks, bro. Thanks.
It's always a pleasure. It's
Thank
always
you.
a pleasure.
Thank you.